Okay, today we're going to be doing solving equations with radicals. Okay, so we have the square root of 4x plus 28 minus 3 square roots of 2x is equal to 0. So the first thing we have to do is isolate the radicals. So we put one radical on each side of the equal sign. And then in order to get rid of the radicals, we have to square both sides. So we're going to square each side. That on the left-hand side, remember the radical, the square is going to undo the square root so that it removes the radical symbol, leaving us with 4x plus 28. And on the right-hand side, we have to square the 3 first, which gives us 9. And then this power of 2, the square, undoes the square root, giving us 2x. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our x's on one side of the equation. So we're going to have 28 on the left. Subtracting 4x from 18x is going to give us 14x. And then we divide by 14 on each side, giving us an answer of x is equal to 2. All right, so now we have to take that 2 and plug it into our initial equation to make sure that it works. So we take 2 and we plug it in x here and x up here. And so we have the square root of 36, because 4 times 2 is 8, plus 28 is 36, minus, and then we plug it into the second radical, and we're going to get 3 times the square root of 4. So that's going to be 6 minus 6, which is 0, which verified by the answer of 0 in the initial equation. So here's another problem. This time I'm going to do a fifth root. The fifth root of 2x plus 1 plus 5 is equal to 9. So we're going to isolate the radical. So we're going to keep the fifth root of 2x plus 1 on the left, and we're going to subtract 5 from each side, giving us 4. And then to undo the fifth root, we're going to raise it to a power of 5 on both sides of the equation. Now the power of 5 undoes the radical for the fifth root, giving us simply 2x plus 1 on the left, and on the right, 4 to the fifth power is 1024. We subtract 1 from each side, giving us 2x is equal to 1023. Divide by 2, we get 1023 divided by 2. Okay, at this point, we then have to check our answer by plugging it into the initial problem. So we plug it in for x. So we get the fifth root of 1024, because 2 times, the 2's will cancel, so we get 1024 on the left, plus 5. The fifth root of 1024 is 4, plus 5 equals 9, so that checks with our solution, our initial equation. Okay, so now this is a different type of problem. Still using radicals, but it's a little more difficult. We have the square root of 5x plus 6 plus 1 is equal to the square root of 7x plus 11. So what we do here is we're still going to square both sides. And the right side is not a problem, because then when we square it, it just undoes the radical. So on the right side, we're still going to have 7x plus 11. But on the left side, remember, we have to use the distributive property, or what some of you like to call FOIL. So we're going to multiply out. So we're going to get this, it's going to end up being the square root of 5x plus 6 plus 1 times the square root of 5x plus 6 plus 1. And so when we multiply the left side of the equation together, we're going to get 5x plus 6, because the two radicals will undo each other. And then we get 5x plus 6 times the 1, and another 5x radical of 5x plus 6 times 1, giving us 2 square roots of 5x plus 6's. And then we multiply 1 times 1, giving us 1. This 1 times the 1 gives us 1. Equals 7x plus 11. Now we combine our like terms on each side. So we're going to get 5x plus 7 plus 2 square roots of 5x plus 6. And then we have to isolate the radicals. So we're going to subtract 5x and 7 from both sides of the equation, giving us 2 square roots of 5x plus 6 is equal to 2x, because 5x from 7x is 2x, and 7 from 11 gives us 4. Divide both sides by 2 gives us 5x plus 6 equals x plus 2. Now notice we still have a radical in the equation. So once again, we have to square both sides, giving us 5x plus 6 on the left, because we squared this side of the equation, and then we're going to square that side of the equation. So we're going to get x squared plus 4x plus 4. Setting it equal to 0, we get x squared, and we subtract 5x from each side, giving us minus x. Subtract 6 from each side, we get a minus 2. Then we factor, and we get x minus, and two numbers multiplied give you 2. When you subtract them, you get 1. It's 2 and 1. So our two solutions are x equals 2 and x equals negative 1. And I'm going to leave it to you to go back and check, but both of these answers work, so that is our solution to this third example. You can start on the classwork tonight or tomorrow in class. I'll see you then.